Hey everyone, my name is Jessica, and today I'm going to give you a brief tutorial and overview of the Web 2.0 tool called Popplet. I really enjoyed this tool and think it would be a great extension to elementary science classrooms and ways to have your students really conceptualize and think about the units that you're teaching in your classroom and kind of ways for them to put that down in a mind map sort of way that makes sense to them, because we all think about things differently. So again, this is just going to be a brief tutorial of how this tool works. And then you can think about how you would like to use it in your classroom. So before you do anything, you can create a free Popplet account. When you do that, you can either, use your email address and password, or you can connect it straight to like your Google account if that's what you prefer to do, which is what I did. When you go into Popplet with the free subscription, you only get to create one Popplet, but they do offer other subscriptions for educators and for individuals who maybe just want a monthly subscription. Maybe you're homeschooling your children and that's something you would like to do. So this is what the interface looks like when you log in. So this is kind of your home screen. One of the things that I like most about Popplet is that it is such a simplistic interface, and it has very simplistic features. So when your students see this, it's not overwhelming, because when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about our elementary students. So this works in a more simplistic manner than similar programs that you could use with your older students like Prezi, and I'll kind of compare those two in just a minute a little bit more. So up top here, you have four main tabs. You have your My Popplets, which is where you create your own Popplets for your, you can send those out to your students. You have the ones that are shared with you. So your students can also work collaboratively on Popplets. So you can assign them for like group projects, and then you can actually see who's doing what, which is also a great tool for educators when you're doing an assessment that's that way, or maybe you're doing project-based learning, and this is a part of that. There are public Popplets available. So if you click on this, this will pull up different types of Popplets that people have made, and they are public. And you can click on those to get ideas. And then there are featured Popplets, which are also essentially kind of the same thing. And they kind of give you concepts about how you can use this program and different ways that you can utilize it in your classroom. This is, oh, there it goes. So we have space exploration, women's suffrage, fifth hour, and then, we have different things down here. We can go into Hamlet for ELA, but for us specifically today, we're talking about science. So maybe something more like this, classifying animals. So let's go back to this main tab here called My Popplets, and we're going to create one really quickly using this tool and talk about how this might, look in your classroom just a little bit more. So you would just hit Create Popplet, and then your students would name their Popplet. So let's do something very basic here. Let's just do dogs. I don't know why that seems to be everybody's go-to when you're making something, but we'll use it here as well. Your students can choose a color for their background. So let's just go with green, and then they're just going to hit Create Popplet. So it's just going to take a minute to generate. You can see the green background that you chose from there. You can always change that within the interface once it's done. And then once you are in here, you need to just hit right here on the little cog wheel and then Make New Popple. Click this. And so now your students kind of have their first tool for their mind map. So for this one, we could enter in, let's just put in some text for right now. I'm just going to put in dogs this way. Students can also, like maybe this way, they would rather do a photo of their favorite breed of dog, or they have a specific video on dogs that they want to upload from YouTube. They can also do that. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to use text. So this feature here, you can add text. You can do the draw feature where you can go in here and draw like so. I'm just going to remove that. Or they can upload photos, PNG, JPEGs. They can upload URLs to different videos, YouTube videos, and then Vimeo videos. So that's what this is. So this would be like the middle of your mind map. So that main bubble. So our main thought in this mind map is dogs. So now we would kind of have our students work in a way where they're going to branch out for that. And then this would be where they get to kind of conceptualize and organize their thoughts in a way that reflects their thought processes, which is great for differentiation and individualization of projects. So the next thing you're going to do, let's say we want to put another popple over here, a smaller popple, because our main idea is dogs, right? So our next idea is not going to be quite as big. We're going to put another one over here, and we're going to do, let's just do something like let's do small dogs, right? So we'll do small dogs. Okay, so this is how we're going to organize this. So that's going to be our next thought process. So if we do small dogs, we will go back to this one because we're obviously going to want something for, big dogs. We'll do big dogs and medium dogs. So we have big dogs. Oop, there, we spell that right. Big dog, cogs. Goodness gracious. Big dogs. And then you just keep clicking back on this main one, and where you want to branch off from, that's the circle that you hit. So if I want to put medium dogs right here on top, I click this, and then I could do, we'll do mid-size dogs. Okay, so again, my main thought is dogs, so we want this one to be bigger than the others in my thought process, and then these are going to be a little bit smaller. So as you can see, this is kind of like that mind map where you have your main idea, and then you kind of branch off of that, and you form thoughts and concepts around that, and you make groupings of your information. So if we were to move forward from here, and we're not going to go too far in depth with this, we would do something like click here, and then we would add, maybe a small dog breed is a, oh goodness, let me think. Small dog breed, maybe we have is it a Maltese? I believe that's how it's spelled. You have Maltese right there. Maybe it has two E's. Anyway, so you would put small dog there. Obviously, this is kind of a thought on there. So for me personally, I would kind of make that smaller than I would the others. But see how we're kind of branching off here? We would do the same thing over here. You could add another dog that way. And then if you were going to go to, big dogs, let's do Labrador, Retriever. Hope I had that right. Labrador Retriever. And we can click on those again, and we can make them smaller. Ooh, let's move it around here. And things like that. So then we can make that bigger. So then maybe your students want to stem off of, okay, so we're thinking about dogs. I'm going to think about big dogs. I think about this dog. And, when I think about Labrador Retrievers, maybe their thought, goes to, whoopsie, let's scroll down here. Zooming in on me. Sorry about that. Maybe when they think about Labrador Retrievers, they think about loves water. And so that's another aspect that they're kind of working on. So you can see how this could be mapped, and students can use it to form their own thoughts. They can move around the squares as they kind of get more intricate. Maybe they've got, several things that they're trying to make connections on. Maybe they want to make this one bubble with the breeds around it, and then they want to make each a breed bubble, and they want to have smaller squares for connections around that. So that is the basic overview of how students can make a Popplet. As you can see, it can be kind of sensitive when I'm touching it with my mouse pad. Sorry about that. Something else that's really great is you can share these with other people. So you could have your students work collaboratively on this. Maybe they're doing a project on dogs. It's a group of 3, and each student is responsible for finding information for different breeds of small dogs. One student's responsible for mid-sized dogs, and one student's responsible for the big dogs. And then as different people work on it, you can see right here around this, it has my name. It says Jessica. And then the outline is black. Students can change that if they'd like. So maybe I want my outline to be orange. When another student contributes after this has been shared, you see their names on here. So this is really great when you're thinking about using technology to enhance your project learning in class, because then you can actually see what each person has contributed. So again, this is a great tool. It's kind of a mind mapping tool. It's a way for students to maybe organize their thoughts in that way. This mouse pad is just being ridiculously sensitive. I am so sorry. Let me get this thing zoomed out here. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. I don't know why it's being so sensitive. Anyway, a way for them to formulate their thoughts in an individual way, or they can work collaboratively on group things, and you can see it that way. There's also, it's not just text-based. They can either use their mouse and they can write things in, or they have the option to upload photos and videos. Again, they would upload photos here. There's different URLs you can insert here that are photos online or something like that, or they can upload videos right here using YouTube. So that kind of gives them that visualization for those who are maybe visual learners and not text learners. So that is my overview of Popplet. Again, I thought it was a great tool to utilize. I hope that you enjoy it with your students, and I could see where this would be building into other tools similar to this, such as Prezi, when your students reach middle school. So this is a great tool for using with your elementary science students. Thank you for watching my presentation.